tell them, okay, now take a deep breath. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Relax, nice and easy. Now, as they were connecting with the spirit, I would ask them, connect with the spirit. The place that I live has 3 spirits living here. So I tell them, connect with the spirit that's here in the building, and they'll connect. Or if it's a remote viewing case, I'll have them remote view the missing child or the murder. And when they kick in and they start doing their psychic activity, the frontal cortex is quiet. The cingulate gyrus is quiet. Their hippocampus is quiet. So they're not imagining or recalling a memory. But then behind the left ear, everything starts to light up. I get all this tracing. They go into active brain waves behind their left ear. And I call that the region of Psi.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw it, I thought, oh, God, this is better than sex. This is amazing. And then when by the 50th time, I thought, wow, this is quite a trend. I've got 50 in a row that do the same thing. And then by the time, I hit 100, I thought, this is, it's no longer a coincidence. I've identified the region of Psi where psychic activity comes through the brain and is interpreted. And on a brain level, it's considered Brodmann's Area 37, a portion of Brodmann's Area 37. But as I said, after 700 psychics I've tested, it's consistent every time. And it just really, it just blew my mind. It's so impressive. But I was doing this for a couple of weeks and testing these psychics and just really having a ball. And I thought, well, let's see how good these psychics are. Let's see if we can, because at the time I was studying the remote viewing of Stargate and the Soviet Union projects. And so I thought, as a psychic, can you remote view? And, they looked at me and go, I don't know. So I put a team together, and I thought, let's see if we could find a missing child. Bam, 12 hours later, we've got that location identified. And I would follow the story in the news, and sure enough, we nailed it. And we did this for about 3 weeks, and I said, this isn't something we get to keep to ourselves. I have to start notifying the authorities.
Yeah, you have to share that.
At first I didn't want to initially until I knew that our system worked, because I didn't want to send the authorities on a wild goose chase. And ultimately, over the course of the past couple of years, we've rotated team members in and out. I found team members that are pure of heart. We had a couple in the beginning that instantly, we got to get a TV show. No, we're not here for the TV show. We're here for the kids.
That is so frustrating.
We should charge. Yeah, we should charge for this. And I said, here's the thing. To charge for an abducted child is illegal in every country on earth. It's called a ransom, and we aren't doing that. And so as I interviewed more psychics, I finally put a team together, the team that I've had now for over a year. And they just have the humanity and the capacity to help others. And they're so pure. And this is why we're a success. In the last 24 months, we brought home 45 abducted children, and we've closed 9 cold case murders. And the process has evolved. I remember in the beginning they said, I can see the abductor. He's got this short brown hair. He's about 6 foot and blah, blah, blah. So then I decided, well, ever since Perry Mason, when somebody's trying to describe, a witness is trying to describe the bad guy, they would bring in a sketch artist. Mm-hmm. Well, nowadays it's all done on computer. You pick the eyebrows you want, you pick the hairstyle, you pick the chin and the teeth and so forth. So I went out and bought professional sketch artist software and distributed it to the team. And now I said, when you see that image, lock onto that image and take that image and let's put it down on paper. and that's worked phenomenal. I mean, we've closed several cases just on the picture alone.
I have a question about that, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah.
I have friends who are remote viewers as well as psychics, and one of them has worked on cold cases as well, and she is someone who sees it from the victim's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
She has a friend who does what she does, who sees it from the perpetrator's eyes,
mm-hmm.
which I think would be horrible, because she sees and feels the plot and the plan and the actual crime.
Yeah.
And do you have any of your viewers, because it's not a choice, it's just how it works for this particular individual, do you have any of your viewers that work that way?
Exactly. But here's the thing. It really is a choice, but they have to learn how to change their point of view. This is the problem we had in the beginning. Yeah, it really does work, because here's what we had. In the first couple of cases, it was so frustrating for me. They could see the victim. They could see where the victim's at. The victim's next to a tree. The tree is next to a creek, and all that. And I go, that's good, but where is this tree? Where is this creek? And that is where they then have a problem. And actually, when I was studying the Soviets and how their remote viewers worked, I learned a little trick. And so we changed this up. First time we changed it, we had a missing 18-year-old autistic boy that walked away from a group home. And I could only get a hold of one of my remote viewers, who is Canadian, and I got a hold of her, and I said, what are you seeing? She goes, I see him standing in front of a pet store, looking in the pet store window. I said, is it a chain pet store, or is it a mom and pop pet store? And she goes, well, they got a basket of rabbits in the window. And I go, well, the chains usually don't have that, so it must be a mom and pop. So for the town that this kid went missing in, I did a Google Map search of pet stores. And then I said, okay, turn to your right. What do you see? And she looked to her right. She goes, I see a coffee shop. I said, okay, turn to your left. What do you see? And she goes, I've never done that before. She looks to her left. She goes, there's an alley. I go, okay, now turn around. What's across the street? And she goes, a donut shop. I said, okay, now here's the catch-all. Go 1,000 feet in the air and look down and see this boy standing in front of the pet shop. She goes, I don't know how to do that. I go, think it through. It's all in your mind. Turn your mind around and go 1,000 feet in the air and look down. What do you see? And she goes, okay, I see the pet store. I see the boy standing in front. I said, now look around. Is there a water tower? Is there a railroad? Is there a creek, a river, a hospital, any landmarks of any kind? She goes, there's a hospital. I said, okay, now picture this pet store being at the center of a clock. What time is the hospital? She goes, 2 o'clock. And I go, and how far from the pet store is the hospital? She goes, about a quarter mile. So then I did another Google search, the same town, for hospitals, and I did a graphic overlay of pet stores and hospitals, and I knew exactly what hospital she was talking about, what pet store. I called the authorities. I was still on the phone with the cops when the patrol car pulled up in front of the pet store and got the boy and took him home. So
that's wonderful.
We learned by changing our angle of view, we get to see that. Because if I took and put a bag over your head, drove you around for 2 hours, and brought you in a building and took the bag off, said, what do you see? You could tell me, well, there's a TV, there's a couch over there, there's whatever. But where are you? You'd have no clue. You have to go outside your present environment to see where you're at, to see, is there a street sign? Is there a landmark of some kind? Is there a highway? And so by teaching them how to look, to change their angle of view, especially 1,000 feet in the air. 1,000 feet in the air thing was a KGB trick, and that worked beautiful. If you go too high, you lose perspective. But at 1,000 feet, you can see what's going on around you. And this way you can sit there and then see landmarks and get a location. From that,
That's
we were
brilliant.
then able. We brought so many kids home using that technique, and it's just it's been a game changer to say the least.
Well, I know that with the Russian intelligence and the American intelligence both working desperately to lead the way using psi. I actually interviewed Lloyd Auerbach when he was working with the Russian gentleman on that book. And I was just surprised that the government was taking this so seriously. I mean, people will mock and ridicule this stuff, but thousands upon millions upon however much more has been spent developing this and developing psychics and readers who can function to help win wars.
And although if you research most of the psychic spy stuff, they were looking for military bases. So when I teach a class at Project Psi called CSI, and what I teach is students who don't have psychic ability how to do remote viewing and review a crime scene. Because I don't care if you're a special agent with the federal government, whether you're a homicide detective or whether you're a PI, every detective that walks through a crime scene, in the back of their mind, they're singing that 1989 Cher song, "If I could turn back time, I could solve this crime." So when you can do remote viewing, you control the ultimate time machine. You get to turn back time to any time you want, and you get to see what's going on. And that's how, by turning back time, we've been able, that's how we solved 9 cold case murders, by turning back time and seeing what happened. Because now you're a witness. You're right there when the event is happening. And the Soviets were great at it. And did the Soviets take it seriously? Oh, hell yeah. When they shut down their Cold War psi program, most of the psychics and remote viewers went to work in hospitals diagnosing and treating patients without having to use the high-priced CAT scans and tech equipment. And they were able to help a lot of people. One of the things, Ed May, who actually ran the Stargate program for years, Dr. May, he's written a couple of books on it, and he's a great guy. But he always talks about, during the Cold War, the government and Hollywood got us to think that everybody in the Soviet Union were evil, and they really aren't. They were just trying to help their own people.
Well, they were doing what patriots were doing here. They're patriots for their country.
Exactly.
But you know what? I have to stop you again.
Okay.
But only 2 minutes. I apologize, because this is getting interesting, and I don't want to have to stop again before the top of the hour. So we'll be back in 2 minutes, guys.